Live post Diddy trial. That's where I'm at right now. I left New York because I couldn't. It's raining and I didn't want to deal with that madness. So I didn't want to deal with the madness. So I'm already out of New York, back in New Jersey. I did not want to deal with that situation, man. It's like the traffic already crazy because it's about to be rush hour. It's rush hour now, but I got out of New York before 4 o'clock. Um, so Kid Cudi testified. So I'm back to give you some paint where it ain't, according to my perspective. And just to let you guys know, I'm just giving you my perspective on what I witnessed in trial. Um, I didn't get in the courtroom, like I said, so I don't know. I'm kind of glad I'm not in the courtroom because some people getting in trouble. You know, they talking a little too much and getting in a little bit of trouble. You know, there's certain things you're not supposed to do. You can't talk about describe the jury and what the jury is doing. You can't do all that. So, like say, oh, this juror is this juror is that. You can't do that. Even I know that. But everything is cool. Kid Cudi testified. He was funny on the trial. He was hilarious. He described, when. Okay, so let's start with Kid Cudi. Yeah, that's what everybody coming for. So Kid Cudi, man. Kid Cudi testified, and he talked about the time when he talked to Puff. Well, let's just back up for a second. So like Kid Cudi, how is Kid Cudi in this situation? Because Kid Cudi actually was dating Cassie, okay? But Kid Cudi did not know that Cassie was still messing with Puff. That's what he's saying. He said he didn't know. All right, he didn't know. But really, she was dealing with both of them. And basically what happened was, as we know, Puff found out about it. He found out about that she was seeing Kid Cudi and whatnot. And so that's when that whole email situation happened. He was threatening her, allegedly threatening her, saying he's going to release some stuff. And she went to her mother's house. But when she went to her mother's house, Kid Cudi was there with her. He was there with her for the holidays. We found that out today. So what happened was, the day Puff found out, he called Kid Cudi. He said, I want to meet with you that night. He wanted to meet with Kid Cudi. But Kid Cudi said, yeah, I want to meet with you. He said, I'm at your house right now. So you at my fucking house, this and that. You at my fucking house. That's what he claimed he said to Puff. But he said, can I be candid? He said, yeah, go ahead. He said, I told Puff, you at my fucking house, this and that. So he said that, right? But then he said he came to his senses. He was like, this guy, he might have people with him. He might have his bodyguards with him. And so he said he thought about it. He said he don't want to get in no more trouble. So he decided not to meet with Puff that night. But he said when he got in his house, somebody had went through his house and put his dog in the bathroom. Locked his dog in the bathroom, right? And opened up some presents that he had bought for people. So, but it wasn't a forced entry, because in the cross-examination with Brian Steele, we found out it wasn't a forced entry. He left his doors open. All right. And he said, well, was your security cameras working? His security cameras wasn't working. So I'm like, damn, we ain't got no video of Puff at the house. Okay. So his security cameras wasn't working. All right. Somehow, he said somebody turned his cameras the other way. Somebody turned his camera the other way, but his security cameras weren't working. So we don't have no footage of Puff at the house. But when she told Cudi, hey, Diddy found out about us, can you come get me? He picked her up on Wilshire Boulevard, and they went to another hotel. I'm gonna have to go live later with my notes, right? I'm gonna go live later and give you an in-depth test. I'm gonna give you an in-depth live with my notes, but I'm driving right now. But they went to a hotel. He picked Cassie up from Wilshire Boulevard. They went to a hotel that really is off the radar. That's what he said. He want to take her to a hotel that's off the radar so she'll be safe. Because he said Puff was tripping. So they did that. And, she said, I gave Puff your address. He said, you gave her my address. Cassie gave Kid gave Puff Kid Cudi address. That's because she was afraid, I guess, right? Allegedly afraid. So Puff must have pressed her and got the address. But he was like, Capricorn, this lady named Capricorn that worked for Puff, she called Kid Cudi and she was nervous. She said, hey, listen, Puff found out, Puff want to meet with you. She said Capricorn was nervous because check this out. When he was we found this out today, and I know Diddy probably found out, when he was dating Cassie, Capricorn knew about it, but she didn't tell Puff. Yeah. When Cassie was dating Kid Cudi and all that, Capricorn knew about it, but she didn't tell Puff. And Capricorn's supposed to be working for Puff. It's supposed to be his assistant, one of his assistants. But obviously, she never told Puff. So I was like, whoa! I found that was a little bit of information, So I didn't know that she knew about their relationship, but she did. And Kid Cudi said he was totally blindsided by it. Because he thought her and Puff was through or they had problems. So Puff eventually, and then Puff started allegedly threatening Cassie because he sent her, a text message saying, I'm going to release some video footage of you. That's when her mother got involved. That's when her mother testified saying that, I had to give some money up and stuff like that. But during the holidays, Kid Cudi was with them. He was with Cassie with her mother house. He stayed with Cassie at her mother house, Kid Cudi. And he loved her. He said he loved Cassie. He had feelings for her. He said he loved her. Because Brian Still said, did you love her? He said, yeah, I loved her. So she was living a double life, man. Cassie was living a double. I think, and Cassie, she has a type too. Cassie has a type. She like them Ryan Leslie type dudes. Like Kid Cudi, Ryan Leslie. She got a type. She definitely do it. It ain't Puff. She was with Puff because of who he was, man. And I think Puff knew that. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion on it. But so Kid Cudi was there with Cassie during the holidays. That's something. That means you really like each other. She really liked Kid Cudi. Cassie, but she couldn't stay with him because of, Puff and all that. But she really did like Kid Cudi. Anytime you invite somebody to your parents' house on the holidays, that's not just a regular effing situation, if you know what I mean. That's not an effing situation. That's like you into the person. So Brian Still, he did okay with his questioning. You said it ain't Puff. You said it ain't Puff. Oh yeah, her type. Nah, it ain't Puff, yo. That ain't her type. Puff not her type. She was with him, but I think she grew to like Puff. You know what I'm saying? Caught some feelings for him, but he ain't her type. And I think Puff knew that, and that's why he was so jealous of her. He ain't want nobody around her. And but she was young. She got caught up. She got used to the lifestyle, and she got caught up. But she was messing with Kid Cudi. She liked Kid Cudi. You see what I'm saying? She definitely got a type. So that's what happened right there. So then eventually, after his car got bombed, it came out. Brian Still said, did you know that it was female DNA on the car and it wasn't male DNA? And then they said objection and stuff like that. So it was female DNA that they found. So here's my reasoning for that. Okay, it was female DNA. So are we to assume that Puff didn't do it? No, I don't think Puff will physically firebomb anybody's car. I think he would have had somebody do it. He wouldn't have physically had any. He wouldn't have got his hands dirty. He would have had somebody do it. But he did say in that text message that he wanted that car messed up. He did say that. So that's a very problematic situation. In the car, they showed the pictures of the car being firebombed. You guys are probably seeing it online if you haven't seen it already. So somebody ripped a hole in his roof. He had like a drop top. So they cut a hole in his drop top and put the Molotov in the front driver's seat. And he had burns, you know, just a little bit of the car wasn't completely destroyed, but it wasn't fixable. Insurance totaled it. Okay. I'm tired, man. Y'all, please, if you come in, give me a like. That'll be greatly appreciated. You know, rock out with me. Give me a like. Give me a like. That'll be greatly appreciated. Because some people, man, I see people reporting on it. They're not reporting the correct thing. Some people are saying that Brian Steele did a bad job. No, he did not. He didn't do a bad job, dog. I heard some people outside saying that he didn't do a bad job. He was doing his job. I mean, he can't go too far into it because you can draw inference that Puff had somebody firebomb his car because he was mad about Cassie. So eventually, after the firebombing, Kid Cudi was like, look, Puff want to meet with me. I need to meet with Puff, you know, so we can fix this. So he met with Puff. He met with Puff, and they talked and whatnot, and you know, like they shook hands and all that. And when they shook hands, he said, that's when he wanted to confront Puff on the car. So they shook hands, and he said, hey, Puff, what's up with my car? He said, I don't know nothing about no car. So Puff was walking off. Then Puff was like, hold on a second. We ain't cool? I thought we were cool now. He said, oh, no, we cool, but, you know. And he just left it alone. He didn't press it no more. But even though he know Puff had something to do with his car, right? According to him. Eventually, it was called Soho. It was called, the place they met at was Soho something. Soho something. It was Soho. I'm in traffic, dog. I can just literally park my car right here. They met at Soho something. Whatever you call it, Soho. Whatever you call it. I'll like I said, I'm going to go live later with my notes. They met at Soho something. Right? If somebody's saying in the chat, that's what it is. It's Soho something they met at. It's like a meeting place, and you said Kaplan was awful. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Kaplan said on the stand that he did not want to be here. I had already told y'all that he didn't want to testify, man. He said that he did not 100%. He said, did you not want to testify? He said, 100% I didn't want to testify. He said he still respect Puff. He said Puff is the reason why he got a hard work ethic to this day. And they said Puff smiled when he said it. He said he really respect Puff. He said Puff taught him his work ethic. He said Puff took him to depths that he didn't think he would be able to go to. Meaning that he rose to the occasion, and Puff, he taught him some things that he's benefiting off of to this day. But back to Kid Cudi. So after Kid Cudi met with Puff, he said that it was over with. Then they met up again at some point at Soho again for a function. And then Puff went up to him and apologized to him, said, hey man, I'm sorry, man, you know, that it even got that far, man. My bad, yo, that it even got that far. You know what I'm saying? Then they pieced it up and whatnot. Because Puff probably realized, damn, I tripped over a woman. You know what I'm saying? If she wanted to be with you, I should have just let her be with you. You know what I'm saying? He probably had a moment of clarity, like, I really was tripping. You know what I'm saying? If a woman don't want to, that's how they taught me. If a woman don't want to be with you, a woman don't want to be with you. But we all have feelings. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, people be tripping. I never trip. The best I've ever did was I'm in the house the whole weekend listening to Best of Luther Vandross, drinking some goddamn wine because my heart broken. Now that's only as far as I went. Yep, I'm sitting up there listening to the Lenny Williams too. I'm listening to Lenny Williams, Because I Love You, that song. Now you know if you put on Lenny Williams, you got it real bad. If you put on Lenny Williams and Luther Vandross, you in the best definition of depression. Best definition of depression. Okay? And you drank, I went through 3 bottles of wine that whole weekend. Depressed. Why? Because I messed up. And it's what it is. Okay? I'm not going to go out there and do something to somebody's car. Okay? I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to sit up there and stalk nobody either. So that's not in my makeup. But some people take it the distance like that. That's why I say, look, listen to this, ladies. When you just getting out of a relationship or you trying to get out of one, fix that first. Get out the relationship first before you go mess with somebody else, man. And you ladies know if you got a old man and he's crazy. Y'all know that. You know your man crazy. Don't put nobody through that bullshit. And you know your man is crazy and the cat shit. You see what I'm saying? So you already know that. Fix that, ladies, please. Okay? So let's get back to it. So it's over with. The Kid Cudi thing is over with. So he said he did a police report when his car got firebombed, but that was it. He never got the car. It was a Porsche 911 Carrera. Just to let y'all know for y'all reference. The car was a Porsche 911 Carrera. And he even had a babysitter for his dog. That's what he called him. I was like, what the fuck? He had a babysitter for his dog. For his dogs. A dog babysitter. I never seen nothing like that. I never heard that before, but that's what he had. A babysitter for his dogs. I thought you could call him a dog sitter. He said dog babysitter. I'm like, all right, cool. Now, his Kaplan, his former assistant, he said he still respect Puff to this day. He said he's seen at one time where him and Cassie got physical. It was on an airplane. Check this out. He said that he witnessed Puff break a glass on an airplane and Cassie laying on her back with her feet up trying to block Puff from hitting her. And she said these words, "Is anybody seeing this?" And guess what? Nobody came to her aid. Nobody told man. I told y'all that. Nobody came to her aid, stop him, right? And they said, well, why didn't you intervene? He said, because that's going to ruin my chances in the industry. Some people do anything for $1, yo. I'd rather be broke, yo. Some people do anything for $1. You know what I said to myself at that point? What a sucker, yo. What a sucker. What a sucker, man. I would have grabbed Puff. You know how people say, yo, get off me, yo, don't hold me back, get off me. I would have been doing that to him. I've been holding him back. I would have been holding him back. Puff had a bunch of yes men around him, man. That's why he in the situation he in now, man, unfortunately. And if people want to get mad at that, you're going to have to get mad at it. That's just my opinion. Because I heard people are threatening people and all that. I don't know nobody threatening me out there, but there's some people out there looking shifty and all that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody threatening me, so I don't know. I can't speak on that. But I mean, there are people looking around. One guy, he eyeballed me down to the point where me and him locked eyes like two pit bulls. I don't know what that was about. I think he was undercover. In there. I think they got whatever. But that ain't nothing. I'm like, damn, I don't know why he looking at me. I'm looking at him, he looking at me, but it ain't no problem. It ain't no issue. I would think they would have people in there to make sure people are safe. But they do have guards in there. So everything is all good. But if you feel like you're getting threatened, just watch your back out there. I don't think it's that deep. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I know people saying, you got to be careful and You know, stuff like, listen, God got me, yo. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't walk in fear, man. Like I said, I don't hold no man to no pedestal. That's why he in this situation now, because that's what y'all did. Ain't nobody tell him he was messing up, yo. But the thing is, I don't think nobody could have told Puff nothing. He would have fired you. Nobody could have told him anything. Because nobody want that money to stop. He said the reason why he didn't intervene is because he was worried about his career. That's the why he didn't intervene. And Cassie laying on her back with her feet up so Puff wouldn't hit her. And she said, is anybody seeing this? And nobody responded. He said the guards didn't, the bodyguards didn't respond. Nobody responded. So y'all okay with a man hitting a woman, man? Some people okay with that. Yeah, he said he was a god among men. He did say that. He said he said Puff is a god amongst men. No, he's not. If he a god amongst men, how come he can't get himself out of this? He is not a god amongst men. That's some sucker shit, man. I don't know, man. People, man. I don't look up to people like that, yo. I barely speak to people in there. I don't care who they are, man. They speak to me, I'm gonna speak to them and be friendly. But I'm not gonna be, oh, that's such and such. You know, except for, you know, the ladies. I speak to the ladies. I do. I speak to the ladies. I do. I speak to the ladies. But the rest of them, no. Hello, how are you doing? You know how I am. You know, that's when I show my teeth. Or smile, or whatever you call it. I see a lot of people in there, dog. A lot of correspondents. I saw the CNN correspondent in there today. Well, I see her every day. I didn't know she worked for CNN. I didn't know. I knew she worked for somebody. She looked like she's into the media. She got that look. I saw her. Yep. Max Johnson, Black Queens Forever. Shout out to Nancy Grace, correspondent. I talked to her. We was both waiting to get our phones. Shout out to her. They see me every day, so it's like, okay, I see him every day. He's here every day. Obviously, he's a vlogger, because he's not just interested in this case, because nobody just gonna come here every day. So he got to be some type of vlogger or something. So, but we all there writing notes and enjoying the trial. We're enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not enjoying that somebody's like life is at stake, but I like the process. That's what I'm saying. I'm not enjoying that Puff is going through this. Just to let y'all know, I'm not enjoying that at all. I kind of feel for him, but I like the process. You know, the lawyers going about their business, the judge, the lawyers interacting. I enjoy that part. But as far as somebody sitting there worried about their freedom, no, I'm not enjoying that. That's never enjoyable. And also, this is a very, yeah, he said he's a god amongst men. He said that. No, I didn't say anything to Miss Westmoreland. I saw her coming off the elevator, but they go into the meeting room. And I didn't get a chance to say hello to her. I saw her, though. She did her thing. Brian's still doing his thing. All they got to do is create doubt. Because if you got too much doubt, how you gonna convict him and you got all this doubt? It says beyond reasonable doubt, right? There you go. You can't convict him and you got all that doubt. So that's what Brian's still and them doing. And Mark Agnifilio did a really good job today too. Yo, you remember when I said, I don't know if y'all said, I said this before, but I said this in a live chat, 2 live chats ago. I said a lawyer never ask a question that he don't know the answer to. Why did Mark Agnifilio say that today? He said, yeah, we're not supposed to ask a question we don't know the answer to, right? He said that. I mean, that's just lawyers. That's just not, it's just a coincidence. I don't think he listened to me, but lawyers know that. They know the answer already when they're asking you, when they're probing for information. They already know. They did their research. It's all about doing good research and painting that picture. That's it. And getting the jury on your side. But they all doing a really good job. I know people hate when I say that, but they are doing a good job. They are. They're doing a really good job, man. They really are doing a really good job. On that cross-examination, they haven't even put on their case yet. So I said Puff is getting really good representation. He's getting top-notch representation. He really is. I mean, he paid the money for it. They worth it too. They worth every penny. All of them. They worth it. And Teddy Garrigo, she got up there today. And, you know, she was questioning the, people thought it was kind of dull because they're questioning the data person that collected the data off of Cassie computer. She had a MacBook Pro and a MacBook Air. Okay. He got the data off of that. So people were, why is this taking me this way? Man, shout out to this freaking shut up. Sitting up here blowing at me. Shut up. I'm back to you. It's just the blowbirds, you know what I'm saying? They just want to blow at me, blow for no damn reason. I'm about to go to my spot real quick, finish talking. Shout out to the water, man. I got a free car wash today. Because I was like, damn, Mike, I was just complaining my car is dirty. And now we got the rainwater, so I'm getting a free car wash. That's how I look at it. And court don't go back until Tuesday. We don't go back to court till Tuesday, so I might go out of town. I might head back to Virginia tonight or tomorrow. I might head back to tomorrow, take care of some things up in Virginia, and then come back and be at court Tuesday. So I might leave tomorrow, and I might go out of town tomorrow, and then and be done like that. So that's my plan. Since we ain't got to go to court till Tuesday, I might as well just actually no, I think I got to take care of something here. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Oh, you know what? I might go to Massachusetts. That's what I might do. I might head up to Massachusetts. So I might be up there. Well, Connecticut first and then Massachusetts. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I just thought about it. I'm gonna go to Connecticut, then Massachusetts, then Boston. So I think that's what I'm doing for the break. You know the crazy thing, as soon as it turns green, if you don't hit that gas fast enough, they start blowing at you. That's mental illness. I told y'all that. That's what the person was blowing at me for. I told him to shut up. But getting back to this. So, like I said, his lawyers are doing a really freaking superb job, yo. Because Harvey from TMZ, he said he don't think he's not sure if he's going to get convicted or not. He's not sure of it now. That's because his lawyers are doing a good job, man, creating doubt. You know, with their cross-examination. Their cross-examinations is superb. It really is. All of them. So I wanted to say that. I really enjoyed their work. Really did. He definitely got an all-star cast. For sure he does. But his former assistant, he said he didn't mind working all those hours for Puff. So he kind of helped the defense out a little bit. He said he didn't mind it because he was there to get to the next level. But he stopped working for Puff, he said, after that incident, though. He said then another incident, he said he walked into the bedroom and Cassie was sitting there on the bed crying, and Puff wanted him to give him something. But he said after that he didn't want to work for him no more. But he said it was just too much drama. I'm paraphrasing, but that's really what he meant. He said just too much drama. So he decided to move on. And he said it just went outside his moral compass. So he just stopped working for him. He gave him I think a 3-month notice. He worked for him another 3 months, then he moved on. Yeah, he moved on. Right? So let me park up right here for a minute. He moved on, and the rest was history. But he said he looks at Puff as a god amongst men. He looked at Puff as a god amongst men. So that's what he said there. Okay, I got my notes. I might as well just give it all to y'all right now. Boom, I got my notes right here. Okay, so we just ended day 9. So Kaplan said that Puff usually hand them. Some of this stuff I don't think I need to say. He said he hand them a bunch of cash when they go on planes and stuff like that. And when they get off the plane, he'll give the cash back to the bodyguard. He said one time he picked up a Western Union cash with approximately $10,000. It came from Combs Enterprises, so that's nothing to really talk about. He said he received immunity to testify, that whatever he say cannot be used against him, but it doesn't protect him from past crimes or perjury. So if he perjure himself, his immunity deal doesn't protect him from that. He said that at the time he worked there, he was involved with Kim, Cassie, and Gina. But he had little involvement with the ladies. But he noticed that the jet plane incident when he got violent. And he broke a glass on the plane, and Cassie had her legs up to defend, and she was like, is anyone seeing this? No one responded to Cassie. And he said he didn't want to respond because he didn't want to compromise Diddy's well-being as far as the media is concerned. You know, he didn't want to make Diddy, if he complained or went to somebody, he didn't want this getting out publicly. And he said his career moving up, in the industry, he wanted to keep his career moving up. And he said Cassie stayed in the back of the plane, and he saw Cassie with bruising on her face at Diddy's house. And Combs wanted him to go to the store to get some witch hazel and stuff like that. He said in December of 2015, he stopped working for Puff. And then also he said his dad was diagnosed with cancer. Then he witnessed another incident on Star Island with him and Gina. He said, check this out, he was throwing decorative apples at Gina in the front of his house in Star Island, some decorative apples, and he was throwing them at Gina. And he was very angry, and she was shielding her arms from not getting hit by the decorative apples. Why are you going to hang around somebody to do that to women, yo? And he's a god amongst men, and he beating on women? No. I feel like I'm in a different dimension. I feel like the principles and morals I learned, that shit don't matter no more. That's the way I feel. But anyway, and he said he saw Combs later that night, and Gina was standing in the corner mad, and Puff was mad, but wanted him to quickly leave after he handed him what he wanted to hand him. And then he said later that night, while he was in the bed in the guest house, he heard a lot of screaming outside. And he still didn't do nothing because he wanted to save his career. And next day he spoke to KK about it, and he said that she was very upset what she was hearing from him. She was disappointed in Puff, actually. And she was sad that he was wanting to leave the job because him and KK had developed some type of rapport. Now you see how KK name keep coming up. You think she gonna testify? What y'all think? Because her name keep coming up. They got her name all in this trial. He said Puff. He credited Puff for teach him his work ethic. And he said he didn't mind working long hours from Puff. He said he had an extremely infectious vibration. Puff, you know, he changed your vibration, right? He had an extremely infectious vibration. And he talked about the Revolt launch party. He said that was a real big thing when Revolt was launched, because everybody felt like they played a part in it, and Puff threw a party for everybody. He said it was a very monumental event. You know, people had a really good time at that Revolt launch party. And then he said they had an off-site event where Puff got people together outside of the office, and they had a think tank on how they can make the company more profitable. Puff was a smart man when it came to business. He was. He just said KK was his immediate boss. Combs, he did say Combs like applesauce. Remember how I said the other day, how are you going to be an assistant and you don't know that Puff like applesauce on his hamburgers? But he did say, yeah, Puff like applesauce on his hamburgers. He said that Kim Porter was a very special person to him. Very special person to Puff. He didn't treat Kim Porter like he treated his other girlfriends, he said. He said he felt like he respected Kim Porter above the other girlfriends. But she was above girlfriend level. And he said the reason why, they said, why? What makes you think that? He said, because he had extra patience with Kim. And when they set up hotels for her, it's usually he set up like oils and stuff like lotions and stuff like that. Very, very little baby oil. He even said, even here, like he even tried to reach out to Puff during the COVID years. And he said he even invited Puff to his, he occasionally he'll send, when he said when Kim Porter died, he sent Puff a card, you know, stuff like that. He sent him a card. And he also invited Puff to his wedding, but Puff didn't respond. So he revered Puff and all that, but Puff didn't probably see him like that. He just saw him as a worker, yo. That's why he didn't, I'm getting the feeling he didn't respect nobody. That's what I'm getting the feeling. Everybody was peasants to him. I'm getting that feeling, man. That's just how I feel about it. Okay, so Kid Cudi. So they were friends first, and then they dated briefly. They worked together on music. They dated in 2011. He said he believed that Cassie and Combs were having problems. And he said Cassie, he got a call from Cassie at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she said Puff had found out, and he picked her up on Wilshire Boulevard, and he took her to the Sunset. If people out there in Los Angeles, you know this, it's called the Sunset Marquee. So he took Cassie to the Sunset Marquee. It was kind of off the beaten path. You know, he wanted to keep Cassie safe and off the radar. And she spoke to Capricorn, and Capricorn was nervous, saying that, you know, Puff is tripping and all this shit. And she was scared and on the verge of tears. And Sean and an affiliate was at his house. So he said he got in his car to go confront Diddy at 8925 Hollywood Hills Road. That's where he lived at the time. He don't live there no more. 8925 Hollywood Hills Road. And he said he drove 15 minutes and went up there in his Porsche 911 Cabriolet. And he She called Puff on the way to the house, and Puff said, "Yeah, I'm gonna come. I'm on my way." But Puff never did meet him that night. But he said Puff did have a calm voice, and he said he noticed when he got to the house, somebody had went in his house, put his dog in the bathroom. That's out of pocket. Put his dog in the bathroom, and went through his gifts, opened up his gifts that he bought for people. But just to note, though, it wasn't a break-in and entry. He left the doors open, and the security cameras wasn't working. But he called the police, made a police report, stuff like that. He said Diddy text him a couple times, saying that he wanted to speak. And after the holiday, during the holiday, him and Cassie went up to her parents' house. But after the holiday, him and Cassie never hung out again. But after his car had blew up and stuff like that, somebody put a Molotov cocktail in his car. He did a police report, and the car couldn't be repaired. But he said that he was scared. He said that he set up a meeting. He said he finally had to set up a meeting because this shit was getting out of hand. So he set up a meeting with it was D-Rock and Dennis Cummings. Well, his name is Dennis Cummings, D-Rock, and he set it up, and then another person, I think somebody else set up the meeting. And D-Rock escorted him into the room, looking like he was a Marvel super villain. He said this shit. He said Puff was in the room when D-Rock escorted him in the room. Puff sitting there looking like, with his hands in his pocket, looking like a Marvel super villain. And people started laughing when he said it. He said they talked about Cassie, and they had broken up, and Puff was off-putting. He just shook hands, and he said, "What's up with my car?" during the handshake. And he said, "I don't know nothing about your car." And he said he looked like a Marvel supervillain. That's what he looked like when they arrested him. If you go look at the video of Puff getting arrested at the hotel, he looked like a freaking superhero and shit. Like with the black cape on, and the black jacket on, looking like something from Marvel. But eventually he met, it's called the Soho House. They met up at the Soho House. Okay, they met up at the Soho House. They talked and, talked it out. I guess Puff wanted to talk like men. Let's talk it out like men. And Puff was really on one, I think he thought he was like a mob boss or something. Yeah, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out like men. So they talked it out and shook hands. But he said, "What's up in my car?" And Puff was like, "I thought we were cool." Like they said, "No, we cool." But eventually they met up and all that. And Puff said, "I wanted to apologize for all this bullshit." You know what I'm saying? And they was at the Soho House again. When they met up again, he said, "I just want to apologize for all the bullshit." And then Brian Steele said, the DNA that was found, it really came back from a female. So I don't know, is he meaning that Puff didn't do it because it was a female DNA? It don't matter. He might have had somebody do it. And Kid Cudi, when we took a break, he came back. He said, "Mr. Steele, I need to clarify something." The judge said, "Well, wait a minute, let Mr. Steele." And then Mr. Steele said, "Okay, clarify." He said, "I want to clarify that I worked with Cassie starting in 2010. So that was his clarification. And then Brian Steele, it was said that it wasn't forced entry. It wasn't forced entry. It was actually he left the door open. And then he said it's been 13 and a half years after the damage of your car and nothing has been done. And they objected to it. But yeah, Capricorn had called him. When he found out that night that he was seeing Cassie, he said Capricorn was nervous as fuck. Because I think she knew about the relationship. Oh, and the makeup artist. testified today. Her name is Mila Morales. Her name is Mila Morales. She's a celebrity makeup artist. She works with A-list celebrities. Um, she worked with from 2000 to 2005. She worked men's grooming for the camera. Worked with Puff. She worked with Rihanna for 13 years. She worked with Cassie, Jennifer Lopez, different people. Uh, she met Cassie when Cassie was 16 years old. Um, she does. She met Cassie when she was 16 years old because Cassie was doing like modeling and different and cover shoots, stuff like that. So in 2007, she started doing makeup uh, for Bad Boy when Cassie was signed to Bad Boy. The last time she worked with her was in 2021. Cassie, Puff always wanted to make sure Cassie was perfect. Anytime she did her makeup, Puff wanted to see her makeup so he can comment on it. He wanted to make sure she was perfect. She saw injuries on her face in 2010. It was after that Prince party. So what happened was after the Prince party, late night, she saw Cassie and Puff came over and they had a fight. And she was all banged up and stuff like that, and she stayed at her house. She heard yelling and screaming and, different things like that. Cassie had a swollen eye, knots on her head, busted lip, all types of stuff. Puff was just doing the most. And she took Cassie to her house for a few days. And a doctor friend of Morales examined Cassie. She actually introduced Cassie to Ryan Leslie. She was the one that introduced Cassie to Ryan Leslie. So she knew Cassie, and I didn't know this. Cassie was also in the Black and Yellow video for Wiz Khalifa. I think I knew that. It's been a while since I seen that video. I don't really pay attention to this shit no more. It's that she met up with Cassie in 2001 to do some makeup for her. And she did some interviews online. She went on Piers Morgan. This is what they were getting her to admit. She worked on Piers Morgan, and she'd been in a Diddy documentary. She was in a documentary. She was reimbursed for her therapy service, like a couple $100. She never got no money for her interviews. That's what she said. She never got no money for her interviews, but she was on Piers Morgan. We also briefly heard from Frederick Renier. He worked for the Lamage Beverly Hills Hotel. He said, "I am a general manager of the hotel. I'm a general manager." He sound like what's his name from Beverly Hills Cop. Remember Surge? He said, remember Eddie Murphy? He said, what's your name? I'm Surge. My name is Surge. That's how he sound. I am Surge. He sound like Surge and shit. He worked there. He's a general manager of the hotel. So they just briefly talked to him. That wasn't really about nothing. Just a side note, I saw Gene Deal today. He came up in my court where I was sitting. Gene Deal. He showed up today. And we heard from Joshua Croft. That's where it ended today. Joshua Croft, he's a special agent for the Department of Homeland Security. He's a computer forensic. He worked in a computer forensics unit. Computer evidence recovery. And Tenny Garagos is the one that's cross-examining him. And I don't think they finished because... I think they may have finished with him. I think they did. And that was it for today. And they said that we're going to have a long break. We're going to have a long break until Tuesday. So, guys, I gave you the notes. I said I was going to wait to give you the notes later, but I gave it to you now because if I go live later, I don't know, I might mess around and fall asleep like I did before. I had to delete a live. I had to delete one because I messed around and straight fell asleep on y'all. I'm tired, yo. This thing is draining. But I'm going to miss it when it's over. You know, the camaraderie with um, meeting certain people in the media. I see them and have lunch with them and meet them every day. I was just sitting with the lady from CNN. So shout out to these people, man. They really doing their thing. I just want to say that to the vloggers, to the traditional media. I see them every day. You guys are really doing your job, and it's a pleasure being around you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw y'all work ethic. They got work ethic, man. They out there hustling. And it makes me feel like I'm not alone, because this YouTube stuff is it's not work to me, but it's a lot involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Like putting something together and talking in front of the camera and shit. And putting some notes together and try to put some paint where it ain't. Oh, man. So I'm about to go up in this store. And then I got to update my other channel. My sports channel. So it's going down. I got to do that tonight. But yeah, I really enjoy being around them. Like when this is all over, we still got a little ways to go, but I got into a routine now. Oh no, you cool, celebrity. You cool. We'll meet up again. You said you coming back, so we're all on break right now. We're all on break. But it's been a hell of an experience, guys. This experience in federal court, I'm glad I got a chance to finally experience it. And I could say now that I sat in the Southern District of New York courtroom. The Southern District of New York courtroom, man. You said is Kid Cudi considered to be a snitch to you, Max? No. No, he's like alleged victim. And Kid Cudi is a civilian. He's not into that criminal lifestyle. He's a good guy. No, I don't consider him a snitch. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's history being made because he's a very polarizing figure. Diddy is. He got a lot of support in that courtroom. Just to let y'all know that. Yeah, and plus, Kid Cudi was subpoenaed to come, so he had to come. No, I don't look at him as a snitch. And who am I to call people snitches anyway? I'm a civilian. But I thought I guess everybody doing it now. I don't even think it's called snitching no more. It's just called giving out content. But anyway, everything went good today. Just the rain, Vloggers really couldn't really get out there and do what they had to do because it's raining. But some of them still doing it anyway. They got their umbrellas. I didn't bring mine. Yeah, they're going to be talking for this case for years. And I can say I was there. So it is history because this movie's going to be made about it. And I can say I was there. I can say I was there. And I got a chance to meet a lot of media people. And I can see the behind the scenes of their job. They doing what we doing as YouTubers, but they doing it on a higher level. They taking their notes down and gathering their thoughts and stuff like that. They're doing it just like how we're doing it. But this is their job, though. They're professional. This is their job. It's my job, too, kind of. It's my job. I'm here every day. I wake up in the morning. It takes a little bit of discipline, you know what I'm saying, to get up in there. But I love it, though. I actually enjoy going there. I enjoy it. Going into the courtroom, sitting down, taking some notes. Never know who you're going to see. Stuff like that. It's really good. How would I say the day went for Diddy's team? I don't think it went either way. I think it's just a regular. I can't really gauge it. I really can't. Yeah, it's a grind. You did it too, celebrity. It is a grind. You'll be back. Check us out. It is a grind. They were asking about you anyway. The guards and stuff too. And Miss Knockout. She was like, yeah, hopefully she come back. Miss Knockout doing her thing, man. Miss Knockout tired though. She tired. She said she gonna take this break and relax. Miss Knockout is tired, but she putting in her grind though. And then she said the people that's helping her saying, well, we want to make sure you're not gonna burn yourself out. But yeah, Miss Knockout doing her thing. Miss Knockout doing her thing, man. You said so the theories about Cassandra behind Cudi's car is squashed. I don't know if it's squashed. That's up to the jury. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out for people how much more do they have to go. I'm thinking they're considering this the third week because I think the judge is counting jury selection and considering this the third week going into the fourth week. And they said 6 to 8 weeks. So it's almost halfway through. Because he said something about the home stretch. That's what he said. You're at the home stretch. This case is moving fast. I'll tell you that much. It is. It's moving fast. So I'm trying to gauge that for people because people are trying to come back. Because I told people the closing statements and jury, you want to be here for jury deliberations. When the jury is deliberating, that's big. Because we all going to be in the break room, until we hear something. You said our CC is there and was there. I think I don't know, man. I don't know how many. They got through a lot of witnesses today. More so, this is the more so than any other day. They're rocking and rolling. Remember, the defense have to put on their case when the government rests their case, and they bring their witnesses. And I don't know if Puff is going to testify. We have to wait and see. That'll be another big thing if Puff is testifying. If Puff testifies, that'll be real big. If he testifies, so, and also if the person KK testify in Puff. I don't know if there's any other big witnesses coming. I don't know if there's any other witnesses coming. Not sure. We're gonna see. If he testify, that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be real big. I'm really living history. Puff take the stand. Oh man, that's really gonna be big. Yeah, I see more. No, it's like watching it on TV, C-Mac. It's like watching it with y'all on YouTube. But I do get more details though, as far as when they go to break. I can hear what they're saying. Well, no, when they go to sidebar, I can't hear what they're saying. It's white noise. But after the day is over, when people are leaving, the lawyers are still talking. I get to hear that. James Cruz was his manager. James Cruz was the manager. He hasn't spoken yet. If he do speak, I don't know. He was Puff's manager for the entertainment side. you know, when he had to do shows and stuff like that. That's what Jane Cruz did. But if Puff testify, that's going to be big, man. That's going to be huge. That's a huge deal. But guys, let me get out of here. I'll come back with part 2, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate you guys listening, and I will be back soon, man. Thank y'all for listening. All right, y'all.